Got tight muscles, your trap always feels like a 400-pound gorilla is sitting on it. You get massages, you foam roll, you stretch, you jam a lacrosse ball in there, even have your better half jam their elbow in there, and it's not getting any better or you only get temporary relief. This video is for you. What's up, everybody? I'm Dr. Matt Baggio. I am the creator of the Peak Method and the founder of the Soft Tissue Revolution, and I'm on a mission to make chronic injuries obsolete by helping people that are injured and in pain get properly informed and educated on their injuries and access to quality, hands-on soft tissue treatment. So in this video, we're bringing back one of my most popular video series from a couple years ago, the Ask the Doc series, where people from all over, from LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, anywhere, send me in questions and I try my best to try to answer them the best that I can and help give them some real answers about what's going on. Even better, we got ourselves a nice intern, Cole. He's behind the camera, trying his best to not shake like crazy. So he's here to help. Cole, why don't you give me that question? Perfect. So Lisa from Facebook writes in, why the heck are my muscles, especially in my traps, so damn tight all the time? I like that Lisa said damn. Shows she's been watching my content and likes those curse words as well. I get massages, I use foam rollers, I stretch all the time, and it never seems to get better. What gives? It's a really good question. I think, Cole, this is going to be a good one to get over to the whiteboard and explain more in depth. So let's head on over. So why the heck are your muscles, especially your traps, so damn tight all the time? It's because there's a problem that nobody is figuring out. It's actually the number one cause for decreased flexibility, pain, and weakness. Luckily, it is also the most reversible problem in the human body. It's called scar tissue. Now, when people hear scar tissue, they go, yeah, Dr. Baggio, I understand what scar tissue is, but I've never had an accident or any trauma, so why the hell do I have scar tissue? Great question. So let's explain. So if you think of your muscles, they really just have one job: stretch and contract. Over the years, with bad posture, you're probably sitting there watching on your phone right now, not enough activity, sitting, not moving, bad diet, lack of anything, your body actually gets these muscles that are getting overused and they get stretched constantly. So think about this. Think about if you walked around and flexed your bicep. Look at me trying to flex off. No, I don't have, that's not one of those videos. I am not flexing. But if you did, you flexed your biceps all day long. By the end of the day, your muscles would be really tired. This is what's happening with a lot of these muscles deep inside our neck, in the middle of our back, you know, like our traps and muscles really deep in there. So what happens is those muscles are on all day long. And when they're on, they don't get enough blood flow and they don't get enough oxygen. When this happens, they actually send a signal up to your brain, and your body thinks that there's an injury there, like you got in a car accident, you got hit by a baseball bat, but it starts really slow. So over time, it starts to lay down these little pieces of scar tissue. They're also known as collagen. Everybody knows what collagen is. Over time, this builds up, and it's like somebody poured glue inside that muscle. Now, when you have scar tissue, as I said, it causes two very big problems. The first problem is it makes your muscles weaker. Next problem, makes them less flexible. Bad enough, but what happens is these muscles get so weak and they get so inflexible that they put a lot of pressure on different areas in the body. And a lot of times you're going to see problems in maybe the bone, the cartilage, the tendon, and even the disc. And when those areas get really beat up and they get flared up, that's when you get that pain. You get that feeling of tightness, maybe some tingling, maybe some numbing, maybe burning, even sharp pain, because that scar tissue is putting more pressure on those areas. Think of your bone, your cartilage, your tendon, and your disc is like your thumb, and it gets stuck inside a car door. The car door is all that scar tissue. So you can't get rid of these problems until you fix that scar tissue first. So why doesn't massage, why doesn't stretching, why doesn't an adjustment, why doesn't physical therapy, exercises fix that? Good thought. because they're not actually going in there and breaking that down. So the beauty of scar tissue is it's completely reversible with expert treatment and diagnosis. So we have these practitioners, they're called Peak Method trained practitioners, and you can find one of them in the link below down in the description and find somebody like that. What Peak Method trained practitioners are able to do is they're able to identify and find scar tissue. And what they're able to do is get in there very precise and very focused with their hands and the use of an instrument. And what they do is they get proper depth, then they get tension on that muscle, and you have the client or the patient go through a full range of motion. This forces the scar tissue to actually create tension and friction and break that down. And when we do that, we actually restore range of motion and function and strength back to there. What happens is when you're stretching it, you're jamming a lacrosse ball in there, you get a massage, is they're only getting one of those components in there where they're just getting the depth. So in the short term, it does allow that muscle to loosen up for a bit, but the problem is it comes right back. Think of that scar tissue as like plaque that gets on your teeth. You know, you can brush and floss and it might keep some of it out of there, but eventually you need to go in and get a deep clean in the dentist. That's what the Peak Method trained practitioners do. They're the best in the world at finding and fixing scar tissue. So if you're struggling, you're tired of your muscles being so tight all the time, you're wasting money on massages, chiropractic adjustments, physical therapy, and your better half is starting to get pissed at you because they're tired of rubbing your shoulders all the time, what you need to do is get to a Peak Method trained practitioner. They're the best in the world at fixing this and finding scar tissue. Thank you so much, Lisa, for this question. If anyone else out there found this useful, please give us a comment, like, or share. Or if you have a question specifically you want us to cover, send us a message. We love doing this, and we will see you guys on the next one. Bye.